Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Michiana Go Red for Women digital experience. My name is Zach Miller from B100 and I'm honored to be your MC. We're thrilled to be together today to celebrate, be inspired, and focus on women's heart health. We started today with 5 fabulous breakout sessions from Goshen Health, Ivy Tech, and Qubit. Use the chat box to tell me which one you joined and what you liked most about it. Tim says that he loved the cooking demo. I'm gonna have to check that one out. That's great. Hope you enjoyed them as well. And for those of you who weren't able to attend, or if you wanted to attend more than one breakout, the great news is that we're keeping those breakouts on this Go Red site through next week, so you can go back and watch them on demand. Now, based on the comments, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch the cooking demo. Ashley says, going to start yoga to help with stress. Kevin says, got practical advice on CPR. I hope I don't have to use it. All really good breakout sessions, so I'll definitely have to go back and check some of those out over the next week. So I know that many of us are passionate about the Go Red for Women and the American Heart Association because a woman in our life has been impacted by heart disease. The startling fact is that 1 in 3 Michiana women are dying from cardiovascular disease, and that's one too many. So I ask, who do you go red for? Go ahead and put their name in the chat box. Dawn says Julia and Jenna. Beth says my mother. Jennifer says Amy. Diane says I go red for Sandy. Tim says my mom. Ashley says my grandmother. Deetta says my grandmother. Rachel says my sister. Patrick says my grandmother. Melinda says my dad. We enjoy hearing from you, so please keep chatting throughout this program. And in addition to chatting within the experience, we want you to amplify it on your social channels. We hope we inspired you to dress up a bit today, which is post-worthy. Just be sure to use the hashtag Michiana Goes Red when posting so we can all see your beautiful photos. During today's program, we'll speak to the needs of the American Heart Association, and you'll have the opportunity to make a gift to support their life-saving mission. This will be a special open your heart moment later, but you can give a gift at any time. It's really easy. You just grab your phone and text Michiana Goes Red to 41444. You'll immediately receive a text response with a link to a secure website where you can easily complete your gift, and every donation is appreciated. And I want to highlight a couple of the special levels that we have today. A $25 donation can connect a loved one with our support group and heart healthy educational materials, as the majority of caretakers are impacted in some form or fashion. A $50 donation provides 10 hospital discharge toolkits to stroke survivors and their families. And a $100 donation trains 10 people in hands-only CPR. So our goal today is to raise $10,000. And later, we will introduce a giving thermometer that we can track our progress. Now, before we dive into our program, we have a special message from a friend of Heart who is also a survivor and a role model to many. Mike Bray, coach of the Notre Dame basketball team, not only has a passion for basketball, but a passion for the AHA mission. He has started a program alongside the American Heart Association to share his story and determination to create awareness within the community about the risk factors we should all be on the lookout for. Let's take a look.
It's a great day for an inspiring message from Coach Bray. We look forward to the day when we can gather in person, but for now, may this message of hope remind you there's a silver lining in each and every day.
Well, I'm pleased that I can share my cardiovascular journey, my heart health journey over the last 15 years, and maybe inspire some people to take care of themselves better, as we've tried to do here in the Michiana community. About 15 years ago, after the basketball season, went back into my workout routine, shortness of breath, a little bit of cramping down my right arm, went in and found out that I had 90% blockage in the Widowmaker artery, as I have learned that's what it's called. Fortunately for me, I did not have the heart attack. Fortunate for me, because I'm a former athlete, and I knew my body, and I felt and knew something was different. I think that's a key, knowing your body and getting a feel for your body. And you can only really do that through exercise and working out and revving your engine up, so to speak. And since then, I have been really pretty good, I think, and religious about diet, sleep, stress management, anxiety, etc. I do have a job where stress revs you up a little bit, so I try to, mentally handle that. But I do think the exercise component is so important. Certainly getting some weight off and getting leaner. But as my doctor told me, he said, when you rev your heart rate up every day, you're basically doing a stress test. As I did 15 years ago when I had the symptoms. So when I work out every day, I will know in a heartbeat. That's a pretty good one now that I think of it. I will know in a heartbeat if something's not working right in there. And so through our programs here locally, and COVID has knocked us back, and we've not been able to do as much interaction with our community, but we are going to get back to that in 2022, I promise you. Our Men of Heart program has just been so well received. But I do see gentlemen in town that have been plugged in, and all of a sudden they've got 20 pounds off. All of a sudden they're not smoking anymore. All of a sudden they're at the gym and working out, and I see them sweating a little bit. And so that makes me feel like we're having some impact. So obviously heart disease is a top killer of men, and a top problem. I think managing COVID has taken our eye off the ball a little bit, and I get that. But heart disease hadn't gone away just because we're in COVID. And as a matter of fact, we all know that the virus can affect your heart and issues there. So my message is, be smart about what you eat, be active, get that body moving every day, rev that heart rate up every day, get that engine running, and then do what you need to do to manage stress and manage anxiety. But with that, again, I look forward to starting our programs up more in person and not by way of Zoom, which we've all lived by for the last year. Thank you. Go Irish.
Now I have the honor of introducing the chair of this year's Go Red for Women movement in Michiana. Please welcome Amy Kintz, Marketing Services Manager from Barnes & Thornburg,
Hi,
LLC.
I hope all of you enjoyed the breakout sessions and that you found them educational and fun. I must say, it has been an honor to be a part of the Go Red for Women movement, to not only raise awareness about heart disease in women, but to take a strong stand against the many health inequities that are in our midst here in Michiana. Having engaged in this movement previously, I knew heart disease and stroke were not just a man's disease. But then I learned even more. I learned that through the years, women have been left out of vital studies. Women have been underrepresented, uncounted, undiagnosed, untreated. And it was my chance to be part of the solution. Cardiovascular disease also hits close to home for me. We lost an aunt just 6 months ago to a cardiovascular event with no known warning signs. Just gone. The work of the AHA has never been more important. They are advocating for changes in the policies and environments that address inequities for access, nutrition, and quality of care, issues only exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Go Red for Women movement continues to educate women and dedicate research to women's heart health. We know there is a strong connection between neurological and cardiovascular implications for COVID-19 survivors, especially for women. And that's why we need your help. While there is still much to be done, there is also much progress taking place. The AHA is changing lives right here. And in a few minutes, we'll see a video from a Notre Dame professor who received a grant from the American Heart Association to learn more about how her research could save lives. And that's being done right here in our backyard at Notre Dame. Behind all the great work, there is a great team of volunteers. I'd like to thank this year's executive leadership team. Your support and your passion for this are world-class and so widely appreciated. I'd like to also acknowledge our Circle of Red Society members, as they are the ambassadors who personally make a beautiful annual investment in this mission. These champions have made the mission of the American Heart Association a personal one. And while I know they appreciate the networking and gathering opportunities, they appreciate being a part of the AHA's life-saving work. Importantly, I want to thank the many sponsors who support work that is so vital to life-saving in our community. Without their support, our movement would not be possible. And for that, we are inspired. Several of them have already committed to continuing their support throughout 2021 and into the future in an effort to ensure a lasting sustainability for the movement as we continue to navigate this together in our community. I am honored to share that Barnes and Thornburg takes this to heart and will be supporting our mission through 2024. We aren't going anywhere, and we know that many others aren't as well. We're so grateful to be a part of this long-term commitment and encourage you and your company to join alongside us in our future for a better tomorrow. We have a great program planned for you today, so please give yourself permission to be present and embrace it. And please know that we can't do this alone. During the program, you will have a chance to make a gift from your heart in honor of someone you love. I'll be doing it for my aunt. Who will you be doing it for? I ask for you to consider who that is and to join us with a gift of $25, $50, $100, $250, whatever you are led to do today. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it back over to Zach.
Thank you, Amy, for your leadership and for your passion for women's heart health. There were a number of reasons the American Heart Association started the Go Red for Women movement in 2004. And in addition to the fact that too few women recognized heart disease as their number one health threat, the AHA also realized that too few women were being included in research studies. As an organization that funds more than $800 million of research a year, the American Heart Association knew it needed to play a vital role in changing those statistics. And the Go Red for Women movement has done just that. Out of that $800 million, $1.5 million has come right back here to our community at Notre Dame University. Today, we want to recognize a researcher from Notre Dame University, and she will highlight a research grant that she received from the AHA in recent years in the amount of $214,500. Please welcome Marianne McDowell.
Hi, my name is Marianne McDowell, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Notre Dame. I'm speaking to you today to extend a heartfelt thank you for your support of the American Heart Association. I was Hi, my name is Marianne McDowell, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Notre Dame. I'm speaking to you today to extend a Hi, my name is Marianne McDowell, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Notre Dame. I'm speaking to you today to extend a heartfelt thank you for your support of the American Heart Association. I was lucky enough to receive a research grant from AHA for the amount of $214,000. And this grant was pivotal in the research that I do at the university. The long-term goal of our project is to understand how inflammation is turned on and activated by the body. And I study one particular protein associated with inflammation that's produced by white blood cells. Now, as you know, there are several risk factors that influence the pathogenesis of coronary artery disease. And among these, chronic infection and inflammation are critical determinants. This is particularly relevant today, given the correlation of heart disease with severe outcomes associated with COVID-19 and the influence that inflammation plays in this process. So determining the triggers of inflammation could lead to less coronary artery disease in the future, and certainly better outcomes for those with heart disease that contract COVID-19. So I want to extend a very special thankful to you from my heart to yours for doing all that you can to get more funding for the American Heart Association, as it will truly change our future. And with the current pandemic and uncertainty in the world, I know that your efforts will make a difference when they're really needed the most. So thank you again for your support.
Congratulations, Marianne, and thank you for the groundbreaking work that you are doing right here at Notre Dame. The past year has brought changes to all our lives. We had to change our routines and limit the number of places we went. We would like to take a moment to recognize the brave heroes on the front lines. Thank you to all of our healthcare workers, grocery store employees, and those essential workers that kept the world running during isolation. As we recognize all those impacted by the pandemic, we realize that for many of us, it meant putting off a visit to the doctor, whether it's for a routine checkup, an elective procedure, or in some cases, even delaying a necessary treatment. As we look ahead with the hopes of returning to normal, it's important that we take time to see our doctor. And the American Heart Association recently released the results of 2 studies. One shows that more than 1/4 of us have put off seeing the doctor, and the other study indicates that because we've put off that care, we can expect to see a rise in chronic conditions in the coming years. The AHA has launched an educational campaign called Doc, It's Been Too Long, supported locally by Goshen Heart and Vascular to encourage people to visit their doctor, either in person or via a televisit. Let's take a look at this educational announcement that you'll be seeing soon. And then we'll hear more from Ram Khatri Chetri, who is the Service Line Administrator of Heart and Vascular Services for Goshen Health.
My name is Ram Khatri Chetri. I am the Service Line Administrator for Goshen Heart and Vascular Services at Goshen Hospital in Goshen, Indiana. I am trained as a family nurse practitioner, and I have been with Goshen Hospital for the last 16 years. So during this difficult COVID era, my suggestion for everybody is whether or not we have cardiovascular disease, we have to take good care of ourselves. The virus doesn't care, and the cardiovascular disease, that is a chronic disease, we have to continue to manage and take good care of ourselves. And so I like the Life Simple 7 that we can follow, which is the rules that help us stay healthy and help not just to prevent and reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, but also manage the chronic cardiovascular disease that we have. So the simple rules that we can follow is to not smoke cigarettes, use tobacco products. If we are current users, to work on talking to family practitioners, or healthcare providers to stop using tobacco products, including vaping. If we are using alcohol, moderating the use of alcohol. Watching our blood pressure, making sure that our blood pressure is systolic 120 and diastolic of 80 or below. We want to make sure that our blood sugars are kept in check, and making sure that fasting blood sugars are less than 110. We want to make sure that our cholesterol numbers, the good cholesterol numbers, we want it greater than 40, and bad cholesterol, especially in the presence of cardiovascular disease, to be less than 100 for LDL. And so for total cholesterol to be less than 200. So we can work towards those areas. We want to make sure that we keep our body mass index, or the way we calculate our weight, and based on our height, to be less than 25. If we can do that, that would be good. Staying physically active on a day-to-day basis. And because of COVID, we cannot go in group runs and group hikes and group bike rides, but we can certainly do individual exercises at home, just walking around the house, going for a walk in the park, going for a bicycle ride, taking into nature hikes and sights and scenes that are certainly very therapeutic, but also they're very health promoting. I would also recommend making sure that you're getting plenty of rest. It's recommended that adults get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and make sure that we're getting plenty of rest. These are very stressful times. Folks whose jobs have been threatened, who may have lost wages. My name is Ram Khatri Chetri. I am that if you are talking to your primary care providers to get your vaccine as early as possible, so that we can get better protection from this virus.
Thank you, Ram, for that information. It's such a great reminder about some things we can do to take care of ourselves physically and emotionally. Of course, another big cause of stress for many of us is finances. Taking care of our financial health can, therefore, reduce our stress. We have some financial wellness tips from Jeff Soboralski, Director of Financial Wellness and Wellbeing from Teachers Credit Union.
Hi, I'm Jeff Soboralski, the Director of Financial Wellness and Wellbeing for Teachers Credit Union. I know that financial wellness and well-being is a mouthful, so let's talk about how these terms are different and what they mean for you. Financial wellness is learning how to manage financial expenses such as budgeting, saving, growing, and investing. We increase our financial wellness by taking positive steps toward healthier financial habits, which is what credit unions like TCU are trying to help our members achieve. Basically, it's taking financial literacy and applying it to your day-to-day finances. To understand financial well-being, first we need to understand well-being. So what is well-being? Leading researcher Gallup defines well-being as shooting for your best possible life. It includes 5 elements. Financial, which is about managing your budget to reduce stress and increase financial security. Social well-being, you have supportive relationships and love in your life. There's physical well-being, having good health and enough energy to get things done each day. Career is liking what you do each day and being motivated to achieve your goals. And community well-being, it's liking where you live, feeling safe and having pride in your community. And altogether and in balance, these elements create well-being. So what is financial well-being? It's a person's emotional relationship with the things and experiences their money can buy, and their emotional motivations for saving and borrowing. Financial well-being is a person's perception of their finances. It's about how much joy, confidence, or even worry we feel regarding our finances. Overall, we all want to decrease stress, knowing we have the ability to absorb a financial shock. We all want to feel an increased sense of security, knowing we have control over our day-to-day or month-to-month finances. And we all want to have the financial freedom to make choices that allow us to enjoy life. Gallup research has shown that people with high financial well-being are more likely to have greater career, social, and community well-being and better physical health. In other words, financial well-being contributes to changing people's lives. Today, I'd like to share 3 recommendations for boosting your financial well-being. Number 1, buy experiences. Take loved ones on a vacation or go on an outing with friends. The experiences you have will last while material purchases fade. Plus, you get to look forward to the event and will have happy memories, hopefully many. We don't get bored with fond memories like we do with things. Number 2, spend on others instead of solely on material possessions. Research has found that spending money on yourself does not boost your happiness or well-being. However, spending money on others does. In fact, it appears to be as important to people's happiness as the total amount of money they make. Number 3, establish default systems that lessen your daily worries about money. Set up automatic payments and automatic savings transfers. These types of effortless transactions can increase your peace of mind and financial well-being. Funds can go into separate accounts like vacation accounts, dining out, special savings, and the super important emergency fund. Take advantage of retirement accounts offered by employers. Take advantage of any roundup savings plans your financial institution offers. Again, buy experiences, spend money on others, and set up default systems. Financial well-being is about managing your economic life to reduce your stress and increase your financial security. People with high financial well-being are more satisfied with their overall standard of living and manage their personal finances well to create financial security. And as a result of managing their money wisely, they have the financial freedom to spend even more time with the people whose company they enjoy most. So how can a credit union help you on the way to better financial wellness and higher financial well-being? Well, the high-level mission of the credit union is about people helping people. All financial institutions generally offer the same types of products and the same types of services. But what sets a credit union apart is that we're member-owned, and we know when our credit union members are financially well, it leads to a healthy credit union and overall a healthier community. TCU's vision statement emphasizes that we are committed to partnering with our communities to achieve their financial success one member at a time. Helping our members achieve high financial well-being and increase their financial wellness is at the very core of what we do. We want to grow our members to be healthier financially and to live happier lives. We're constantly working to create and provide services and tools to help our members achieve their financial goals. We offer financial advisors, free online financial education tools for students and for adults, online calculators, articles, podcasts, guides, and other tools that may help you through major life purchases and everyday financial decisions that lead towards better financial wellness and higher financial well-being. We're here to help you get where you want to be. Thank you for joining me, and blessings on your financial journey. Hi, I'm Jeff Soborowski.
Such great information. Thank you, TCU and Jeff, for providing those tips to us today. It only gets better. So we're coming up on one of my favorite parts of the program each year. We're thrilled that once again, we have a panel of experts joining us to talk to us about the warning signs of heart attacks and strokes, the top risk factors for those events, and ways that we can reduce our risks and lead healthier lives. But before we get to that, we have a heartfelt message from Mike Leap Jr., president of Gurley Leap Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Mike Leap Jr., president of the Gurley Leap Automotive family, and I'm honored to be with you here today. As we continue to face the challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that cardiovascular disease continues to be the #1 threat to our health. 1 in 3 women are taken by heart disease. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our daughters, our sisters, and our friends. It impacts the whole family in one way or another. It rarely gives us time to prepare. Many times we're left questioning, how did this happen? What do I do now? Our ability to trust and have faith becomes critically important during times like these. At the Gurley Leap Automotive family, we understand firsthand the impact that cardiovascular and stroke challenges can have on a family and the community. My father had a heart attack at just 44 years of age. He was hospitalized for 10 days and took off work for 6 months. He was fortunate that he recognized the signs that something wasn't right and he went to go see his doctor. He was at the doctor's office when he had his event. I've heard him tell the story many times, laying on the gurney as the nurse counted down his pulse to 0. But he was in the right place at the right time, and by the grace of God, he was able to pull through. Since then, my dad has made lifestyle changes that have benefited his health and his quality of life. In addition, medical breakthroughs in preventative and therapeutic drugs, as well as early diagnosis of conditions, have increased outcomes for heart patients. Many of these research breakthroughs have been funded by the American Heart Association. That is why we are so very delighted to join alongside the American Heart Association right here in Michiana. We know that up to 80% of deaths can be prevented through lifestyle change, early diagnosis, and medical advancements in care. As we've seen during the pandemic, those with conditions such as hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes have had much more severe and even deadly outcomes if they contracted the COVID-19 virus. This should come as a sign for all of us to make healthy lifestyle choices to not just have a longer life, but a better life. As we continue to move forward, we look with great hope and possibility to what the future advancements provide for many who will count on it. Please continue to do all that you can for yourself and your family to stay healthy, strong, and brave. Together, we will go red Michiana. Together, we will rise stronger than before.
Thank you, Mike, for that inspirational message and such a powerful reminder what an impact cardiovascular disease can have on an entire family. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists today. We've pre-recorded some questions with Dr. Javed Hadian and Cassandra Long, but they are also live with us via the chat box, so feel free to ask additional questions there, and they will do their best to answer them. Dr. Hadian is a board-certified cardiologist with fellowship training in cardio-electrophysiology. He specializes in interventional techniques to manage cardiac arrhythmias and prevent sudden cardiac death. His expertise extends from complex EP studies to evaluating the electrical circuits in the heart to catheter ablation therapy to treating irregular heart rhythms. Cassandra leads the support group for Ornish Lifestyle Medicine, helping participants navigate their shared journey while recovering from heart disease. She loves encouraging and motivating individuals from all walks of life. Cassandra has a master's of social work from the Indiana University of South Bend. Let's tune in, and again, please utilize the chat box for your questions you have for either of them.
The hallmark of arrhythmia usually is palpitation. However, you can have normal heartbeats going faster and feel as palpitation. On the other hand, you can have arrhythmia without knowing it. The bottom line is, if anytime you don't feel well, you consult your doctors. Anything which is not you, you know your body. Something bothers you, you consult your primary care physician and you go through the appropriate channels and they will find whether there is some concern about rhythm or not. It can be syncope, it can be discomfort in your chest. When our heart rate goes out of rhythm and irregular and fast, we may feel palpitation, but not always. Sometimes we may feel short of breath, sometimes fatigue, sometimes worn out. And if any questions, and if anything which is not you again, you know your body, you know how you felt well. If you don't feel well, you need to consult your physician. Yes and no. On one hand, there are differences. On the other hand, the way the society has handled diseases in women. Because women were leading in healthcare, who takes care of the family? Who notices that children are not feeling well? Husband needs to go to doctor. Women. So women are the ones who pulled the alarm. And what happens when somebody complains? Sometimes they're not taken serious. That is a major issue we have seen sometimes. The ones who have symptoms and bring those forward, what's going on, sometimes can be ignored, and that is a major issue. Do the symptoms can vary? Yes. Why? Hormonal changes, cyclic changes can contribute to changes in heart rhythm. Yes. And after menopause, while women go through their climacteric, in that period, the hormonal changes can contribute to underlying rhythm disturbances, can change the symptoms, whether normal heart rhythm or abnormal heart rhythms, they can respond to the hormonal changes, and that way, yes. In the past, we didn't know the genetic background for AFib and some arrhythmia. What was the reason? There are diseases, if we have, for example, an autosomal dominant gene, they are passed on to our children, and they can show at birth. On the other hand, there are diseases that need time to develop. You carry the gene, but you have the nature, and the nurture brings it up. Nurture contributes to development. AFib, initially, we did not know. There is a lot of genetic background to it. But as time has gone, yes, we know about 50% almost. There is some contribution, but this is not one gene. This is a multigenomic, multifactorial disease. There are many background predisposition and predisposing factors contributing to that, as well as our environment. Cardiovascular disease is still #1 killer. Not only is #1 killer, if you check the statistics from National Center for Health Statistics, it increased. I think it increased about 40 to 50,000 more deaths caused by heart disease in 2020, while COVID-19 killed about 350, I think, in 2020. Cardiovascular disease killed about 690,000 in that range, which is about 40,000 more than the year before, which was around in the 500s range. Number 2 is cancer. Number 3 last year became COVID-19. And number 5 is a stroke. So cardiovascular disease is still #1 and increasing. That is not just AFib, not just a stroke, not just heart attack, all the above, all aspects of peripheral vascular disease. Heart attacks, not only deaths, but also morbidity is increasing. Unfortunately, with COVID-19 and sitting home, not having healthy lifestyle, the psychological aspect of it, it may be contributing to the issue of heart and vascular disease. But nothing has beaten the tragedy of heart and vascular disease causing deaths. There was a study about 2 decades ago. I think a professor from Columbia University, an epidemiologist, evaluated what is the major determinant in longevity, having diet, exercise, control your lipid profile. All of these factors could have had 5 years, 4 years, adding longevity to our lives. There was one factor he noticed that has almost double effect. It can increase almost 10 years to our lives. And what was that factor? Happiness in life. What and how he defined happiness in life. Having control over your destiny. Although it can be like an illusion, we have never control on our destiny. But stress, being dragged by environment all the time, that has a major effect on our health. If you cannot control environment, there are things like yoga, biofeedback, the things that helps you to relax. Those are very important factors. It's also noteworthy that studies in other countries like the Netherlands, they noticed 5 to 10 years difference in longevity across different socioeconomic backgrounds. And what they thought is not just genetic background, but the stress they go through, the lifestyle they are going through, and 5 to 10 years is a big, big difference in longevity. Caffeine traditionally makes any palpitation worse. Having said that, there are studies, among others, in the Netherlands. They figured out that about up to 3 cups of coffee, 3 cups of coffee a day reduces dementia. It has not been confirmed in other studies. However, caffeine has an effect on all arrhythmias. It can make the arrhythmia worse. It doesn't cause it usually in the amount we drink, but if you have any arrhythmia, it can provoke and make it worse. Again, it goes back to the same principle, everything in moderation.
I would say that it starts with being mindful. A lot of us were born and raised with, cooking with a lot of greases and oils and just really things that are just not healthy. And so we never really had a clean paved way, and we never really understood. I'd say start paying attention to labels, start paying attention to the meats you're eating. That's one of our big things here. A lot of people are like, oh, we're just meat eaters. What's a meal without meat, right? And we get that. However, our metabolism works that way where without that meat, we feel hungry because the foods are kind of made to do that to you. They're made to kind of addict you. They're made to kind of keep you coming back to them. So with that said, back to your question, I would say that the biggest thing that one can do is just to start being mindful of what they're eating, how many sugars, just different. It's a lot, when it comes to transitioning from whole wheat breads to just the small things, and all of that will eventually kind of, come together. One of the biggest pieces as the social worker that I have witnessed from participants who have graduated and who are still coming on, and we're starting different groups at all times, is the lack of support that individuals have. And that is essential in any human's life, is that support system. And it is the likelihood someone will experience higher levels of depression, thoughts of hurting themselves, even suicide, that sort of thing, all come from depression. And without that circle, even if it's like, your primary care physicians, family, just a circle of people who are caring for you, it's crucial. And without it, a lot of people go down dark holes, and, then it's bad eating habits and so forth. So people, of course, come from all walks of life. Some people have their spouses, and some people still, even with spouses, it can be hard because you're talking diet change and not everyone is on board. So with that said, depending upon where you're at, the love and support section is very, very based on building that circle for you. So if you come in and you don't have that, I get to know each participant individually. And at that time, we kind of explore what they have in their life. Maybe there's things all the while that are kind of there that they don't know about, like different support groups in the community. So at that time, I would, set aside some time outside a group to kind of work on getting them closer connected. But the benefit of the Ornish program is that you have a group within that. And the benefit of that is that you have a group that has similar circumstances to you. And so that's really helpful in a program like this, to have someone who understands what you're going through, who's there with you every step of the way. And we really work the whole time, the 9 weeks throughout the program, to allow the group participants to build rapport within each other, so that there's that trust, and so that they start to share more. And then that's where they start opening up about what they need. And then that's when I can step in and assist where that's needed. The last hour of our group is spent doing food demos. So our nutritionist is actually like doing hands-on demos to try to show that it's easier than what people say and what research says. And so we do demos in which that last hour we allow the spouses to come, because that's kind of that hard spot to get everybody on board. So it's cool because that's also our education hour too. So when today, for instance, we talked about listening with empathy and how important that is. And so with that said, the spouses and whatever family members they choose to bring have it available to them as well, so that they can better support the participants in the program. I would definitely encourage them to, of course, we have social media, that's a social platform. But for those who don't, there are, you have the library, you have different things where you can get out and about and meet different people, parks. If you wanted to do individual therapy, if you wanted to see group therapy, for any reason, you can always ask your doctor too, pretty much anything under the sun. And they can reference you and link you. And then social workers, I think that they are underutilized, because people don't know really what they are there for. And I can't name a social worker in Goshen Hospital that wouldn't jump right in and resource you and link you and connect you to wherever you need to go. So utilize social workers, because they know quite a bit in the communities.
Thank you, Dr. Hadian and Cassandra. And now we'll open it up for any questions we've gotten here. So looking at one for Dr. Hadian, I know we need wellness screenings every year. Does the same apply to children? And at what age should we start those? Thank you, Amy. We are due to the time right now. We're going to thank you for your questions, but in the essence of that time, we're going to get back. We'll have Dr. Hadian and Cassandra answer your question if it was not addressed in the follow-up email upon conclusion of today's event. And this type of education is exactly why we do the Go Red for Women movement and why it is so important. So while we're doing a great job of helping women understand their risk of heart disease and stroke, the sad reality is that heart disease remains the leading cause of death among women ages 25 to 55, and 1 of every 3 deaths is due to heart disease. I want to introduce you now to a woman who knows the realities of heart disease, so let's meet Ruth Meyer.
My name is Ruth, and I am a heart attack survivor. I'm 68 years old, and I had no preliminary warning signs. I got immediate medical attention, and to God's blessings and a great healthcare team, I'm here to tell my story today. I was in a checkout line at a drugstore, and all of a sudden I felt very nauseated, profusely sweating, and a pressure on my chest. It wasn't a pain, it was a pressure. I was so shaky that I laid down my card, asked the clerk to check me out and bring my stuff out to the car. I went out and it was cold out. I opened all the windows, turned the car on, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this will pass. You know, all I need is to get some air. And when the clerk brought me my purchases out 10 minutes later, she just looked at me and said, you don't feel good. I said, no, call 911. She came out and stayed with me until the ambulance got there. And thank you to all the healthcare workers out there. They were so prompt. I was surprised how prompt they were. I'm convinced they saved my life. Within 40 minutes of getting to the hospital, I was in surgery and I got one stent put in.
There was no delay in seeking the medical care. There was no delay coming to the ER. And she was taken right away to the cath lab. With that, she had very minimal or no damage to the heart from the major heart attack, which is really surprising. People, they get symptoms of chest pain, breathing problems, something is new, which is not usual. And those symptoms, they are not getting better. Those are the symptoms we need to pay attention. And especially, I always talk about atypical presentation of those symptoms in women, because women, they present differently. So essentially, it could be any of the other symptoms. If somebody has been experiencing all these or any of those symptoms and they are not going away, and there is a sense of feeling something is going wrong, yes, they need to call 911 rather than coming driving by themselves to the ER. And we really appreciate this thing because our whole team is ready, waiting for the patient. We get the appropriate test done right away in the ER. Then we transfer the patient to the cath lab. That saves not only time, but also it saves the muscle and it increases the chances for survival and reduces the risk of future complications.
So far, my rehab has been excellent. And I've already done 2 follow-ups with my MD, and I will have another echogram with Dr. Bassett, the cardiologist, in about a month. And I'm making lifestyle changes and want to share my message with other people. When in doubt, check it out. I think we women, especially, we're the caretakers, and we take care of everyone else but ourselves. My husband died 2 years ago, so I hadn't gone to a doctor for 6 years. It was an 8-year cancer battle. Now I realize there are consequences for not taking care of myself too. And gentlemen, you're not off the hook either, because I think a lot of men also deny their symptoms. And we all need to learn from that and share it with our family members and loved ones as well. And I appreciate your organizations getting this message out as well too, because there are a lot of heart attacks that could be prevented. And awareness and education is obviously one of the first places to start. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
And thank you, Ruth. You're such an inspiration to us. You embody so much of what the Go Red for Women movement is about, advocating for your health, fighting for your family, and helping to educate others. It's so exciting to hear that you're getting better every day, but we know there's still a ways to go. So ladies and gentlemen, let's do our best today to support Ruth and women like her who are depending on a medical breakthrough. Giving today is easy. Simply text 41444 with the message Michiana Goes Red. Let's help raise awareness so we can have more happy endings like Ruth did. Our goal is $10,000 during our Open Your Heart moment. And we'd love to see 100% participation today. Whatever you can do, we thank you. We hope you'll consider giving at a level that's comfortable for you. As you begin to give, we'll pull up the thermometer to see our progress. And we might go a little over our time mark today because of all the amazing content that was shared, but please stay with us just a few more minutes for this important part of the program. Take this time to think about who you're making your dedication in honor of today. Maybe it's for someone going through a cardiovascular challenge right now. It could be your mom or sister or friend, a brother, your dad, your niece, your son, daughter, nephew, spouse. Or it could be in loving memory of someone that was taken from you too soon because of a cardiovascular event. Who are you giving for today? Think about it, and please continue to type in the chat box, who are you giving in honor of today? We'll have a special word cloud displayed with those tributes at the end presented to us today by Goshen Health. Aaron says, I'm given in honor of my grandma who suffered a sudden cardiac arrest in 2018. One is too many. And Maria, she also says, yes, Aaron, one is too many. Beth says, my husband, Joe. Jennifer says, in honor of everyone who has been taken too soon. So special thanks to those joining the Circle of Red Society by giving $1,000 today. Keep in mind, every dollar makes a difference. A $25 donation can connect a loved one with our support group and Heart Healthy educational materials, as the majority of caretakers are impacted in some form or fashion. A $50 donation provides 10 hospital discharge toolkits to stroke survivors and their families. And a $100 donation trains 10 people in hands-only CPR. Remember, as you're giving, please continue to type in the chat box who you are giving for in honor today. We'll have a special word cloud displayed with those tributes at the end presented to us by Goshen Health. Now we're going to come back to our thermometer in a few moments to see what an amazing impact this group has made for our mission. I want to thank each and every one of you for your generous support of this life-saving mission, and we've learned such valuable information today during our breakout sessions and during the main program. I also want to thank our sponsors again, whose support made this event possible. Special thank you to our national sponsor, CVS Health, and local presenting sponsor, Goshen Heart and Vascular, along with those displayed on your screen, as these companies are all working together to help minimize the devastating impact heart disease has on women. And as we close today, we'll bring the thermometer back up. The instructions are there if you still would like to give a gift for this life-saving work. And we hope that everyone has enjoyed this digital experience. Before we head out, let's take a look at a special tribute to those you said you were making your gift in honor of today. Thank you all once again, and have a great day. Everyone, we hope to see you next year.